Hey guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And yesterday, I read from The Language of Letting Go, and I read the meditation for January 1st. So I thought that today, I would go into Journey to the Heart by Melody Beatty, and my other favorite meditation book, and I would read the meditation from January 1st in this one. So we could kind of start from the beginning, start fresh on both of these books, and see what this one has to say to us today. So let's get started, shall we? Let's start at the very beginning. Very good place to start. Okay, so here we go, January. And January 1st, here is the meditation. The meditation is called Honor the Beginning. A very good place to start. January 1st, honor the beginning. Beginnings can be delicate or explosive. They can start almost invisibly or arrive with a big bang. Beginnings hold the promise of new lessons to be learned, new territory to be explored, and old lessons to be recalled, practiced, and appreciated. Beginnings hold ambiguity, promise, fear, and hope. Don't let the lessons, the experiences of the past, dampen your enthusiasm for beginnings. Just because it's been hard doesn't mean it will always be that difficult. Wow. Don't let the heartbreaks of the past cause you to become cynical, close you off to life's magic and promise. Open yourself wide to all that the universe has to say. Let yourself begin anew. Pack your bags. Choose carefully what you bring, because packing is an important ritual. Toss in some curiosity and excitement about what you haven't yet learned. Say your goodbyes to those you're leaving behind. Don't worry who you will meet or where you will go. The way has been prepared. The people you are to meet will be expecting you. A new journey has begun. Let it be magical. Let it unfold. All parts of the journey are sacred and holy. Take time now to honor the beginning. I really love this meditation. You know, it's interesting because I think whenever you start anything new, a new relationship, a new job, a new year, I think that there's always apprehension going into it. And that apprehension comes from, like the book said, past experiences that we've had. We bring all of that in there. You know, it's like when you enter a new relationship and people always say, like, I brought a lot of baggage, or they brought a lot of baggage into the relationship. I think it's hard not to, you know? I think that's something that we look down on in life, is people bringing baggage. I mean, I think that saying has a really negative connotation, right? That, like, oh, they brought some baggage into this, but how do you not? You know, it's like when you, like, go on a trip, you're obviously going to bring things from home that are going to remind you of home, you know? So you're going to bring your home life into your vacation, no matter how hard you try not to. It's like if you're on vacation, you're still probably going to get emails maybe from work, or emails are going to remind you from home, or phone calls if something happens. So it's not like you can completely just go on vacation. I mean, you can. I mean, you could just disconnect completely, not have your phone, not have anything, but very few of us do that. I think when we start a new year, I think so many of us go into it, and I have many years before, gone into it with, like, not really thinking through. Yesterday I talked about setting goals, but not only just having goals set, but what's the action plan to achieving those goals. And that's just as important to me as having the goals, because if you don't have action plans for the goals, then you're not going to accomplish your goals. So that's important to me as well. But the other thing is that, I think that I've gone into New Year's thinking, like, new year, new me. Like that saying, new year, new me. That I thought that before in the past. Like, oh, we're just going to leave it all behind, blah, 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 whatever. Without really consciously even asking myself, what is it you are leaving behind? What is it you're going to focus on going forward? And this year I actually sat down and I made a list in my phone to remind myself, so that when those things come up, I was like, okay, what are specific things that you are leaving behind in your past? And it's not necessarily like people or events or things that happened. It's more like, the two examples I keep on using are fear and control. Two things that, like, have a lot of hold in my life are fear and control, or fear and lack of control over things. And I was like, I'm going to do my best to leave that behind, in the last year. And then I put, what are the things I'm going to focus on going forward? And the things that I have, okay, so what's interesting about these lists is that the list of things I'm leaving behind, there's only like 4 things on the list. The things that I'm focusing on in 2025, there's like 10 things. And they're all positive things, right? Because I want to have this positive state of mind of going into the next year. It's not about the forgetting, okay? I think that So many of us think that, and I think I thought this for a long time too, that to move forward into positivity, there has to be a forgetting, that happens, or an undoing, that we forget everything that's happened to us. I don't want to live that way. I don't want to live my life forgetting things that I've gone through, or that not applying any kind of meaning to them, In recovery, one of the things that we say is that we do not close the door in the past, nor do we forget it, which means that we don't live in the past, okay? But we also don't forget what we went through in the past. And that's important to remember where I came from. And I think that's what this meditation is saying, is that when we go into new things, let's honor those as beginnings. Those beginnings might be scary. They might be exciting. It reminds me of this one thing, okay, changed my entire perspective when I was in college, after I got sober. I really, for years and years and years, I hated starting the first day of school, right? And that went all the way back to me being in elementary school and junior high and high school being bullied. When I was in, growing up, going to school, the first day of school for me was very much like the safety plan. Who is in my class? Where are they sitting? Who's going to give me the most hell? Things like that. What I know today, having been in therapy, is that those are PTSD responses. That those are responses of going through traumatic experiences. When you're coming up with a safety plan, and I just want people to know that that's a very real thing that a lot of kids go through. I went through that. I mean, I can remember sitting in classes. I can remember a French class I sat in high school, which I had a horrible experience in, and being okay, he's sitting here, and this person's sitting there, and they can look at each other, and I just knew where the laughter was going to come from, where the most hell was going to come from in any classroom. From 3rd grade to 6th grade to 9th grade to 12th grade. I knew where the hell existed in any classroom. That was part of my safety plan, It's one of the reasons why I like to sit in the back of rooms. I still, to this day, like to sit with my back against a wall. It feels safer to me. I can see everything that's going on. And if I see everything that's going on, right, then I can have some kind of sense of control over that. Well, I don't have any control over that. Even if I can see it, I don't have any control over it, right? So I think that going in and having a new beginning, it's you have to leave some of that behind. But you also, I think, have to, so this is how that all changed for me. I can remember after I got sober, being in college, and somebody had said something to me, it might have been before that, I don't know, but somebody had said something to me about why they loved the first day of class. And this stuck with me, I don't know why. And I said, why do you love the first day of class? And they said, because you don't know, you might meet the next guy you're going to date, or your next best friend, or somebody that you just will know for the next 20, that day in that class might be where you meet them. And I remember thinking about that, and it's really not just about that person that you might meet, but I did start going into classes with that attitude of who might I meet today? I might meet somebody today that will profoundly impact my life in a positive way for the rest of my life. But what it really did was it really changed my perspective. Instead of going into classrooms and feeling very afraid or being fearful, even in college, of being fearful, it changed my entire perspective. Of my perspective coming from a place of fear, instead it looked at from a point of excitement. As I enter 2025 this year, I am still looking back on things that have happened in 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, 1990. I mean, I'm still looking back at those things. Those things made me who I am today, but I don't want to live in them. I don't want to stay stuck in them. And I'm looking at 2025 with a lot of excitement. I really am. There's a lot that I have to be excited about in 2025, I'm excited about, spending time with my husband and traveling and spending time with friends and family and new videos that I'm going to make and new projects that I've come up with and new TV shows and books and things like that. I mean, even though some of those things kind of seem lame, I'm even excited about the pool opening this summer and things like that. I'm going into 2025 with a lot of excitement that anything is possible, that anything, it's one of my favorite Christmas movies, Season for Miracles. It comes from The Secret Garden, that book, and that anything is possible. And that's true. Anything is possible. I think when you have grown up in very toxic environments or chaos, and you've grown up in a lot of negativity, and I'm not just talking about home environments, for me it was in school mostly, and you grow up with always having a pessimistic point of view or pessimistic attitude of the glass is always half empty instead of half full, it's really hard to have that kind of attitude. I've met so many people in my life that are so excited about the smallest things, or so, their perspective is always so positive. And I've always thought, God, I wish that I could be that way. Well, I can be that way. The only person that's standing in the way of that is me. And I want to be more like that. And so I vowed when I made the list of what I was leaving behind in 2024 and what I'm focusing on 2025, I was like, this is how I'm going into the next year. I'm going into the next year excited, active. I'm excited about all these things that I get to do this year. I get to, like that's a new word that I learned. I mean, I didn't learn it, but that, really meant a lot to me. Instead of I have to, I get to. That's one of my perspective changes that happened in 2024. Of all these things that I felt like in the past I'd be like, I have to do this, I have to do this. I get to do those things. I get to do those things, It's a different way of looking at things. When I get in a complaining mode, I look at something as, I get to do this instead of I have to do this today. And that's powerful, And so there's a lot that I get to do in 2025. There's a lot of things I don't even know that I'm going to get to do in 2025 yet. But you know what? I've decided that I'm going to stop standing in my own way. And I am going to do things that make me happy. I'm going to live my best life. That's my goal for 2025, is living my best life, however I define that in the moment, and have the most fun and try to put out the most good into the world and enjoy life that I'm given each and every day on a daily basis. And so for me, it seems like 2025 is kind of starting off slow. It feels very slow for me already. So when she says in there, like, it either starts with a bang or kind of so, 2025 is kind of starting kind of slow for me. I don't really, like, I'm unsure yet, But good, it feels good. And I hope it does for you guys too. But just remember that going into any situation, whether it's a new year, a new relationship, a new job, you get to define what that experience is going to be like, You get to own it, what that experience is going to be like. So own it and enjoy it, and be like, you know what? I'm going to own this year. This is going to be my year. I'm going to own it. And that doesn't mean that just because it's your year, it can't be somebody else's year too. But be like, this is going to be my year. This is going to be my year. I'm going to have a blast at it. I'm going to have the most fun. All right? So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.